Hi, welcome to BG24 Public Affairs Show. I'm Gary Malvo, and this is Jasmine Burnett and Ejante Hall.
And on tonight's show, we'll be joined by Chad Hartson from Ice Creations. He will be here to carve an ice sculpture for us and tell us all about his work.
There's more. We will also be joined by Jessica Batterson, a representative from the Peace Corps here at BGSU. She'll be here to talk with us about the amazing process and the work they do.
Then later, we will be joined by Rebecca, a fashion student here at BGSU. She will be here to talk about what's on trend and to show us some of her own trendy pieces.
Then later on tonight, we'll be chatting live about a Lifetime movie that has received a lot of criticism.
Sounds like a great show. Stay tuned because it all happens after the break. It's getting chilly here in BG, but Chad Hartson is in the business of chili. Chad Hartson is an ice carver and the creator of Ice Creations. Thanks for being here, Chad.
Thank you.
How are you today?
Good, you?
I'm doing well. So what are you carving for us today?
We're going to be doing some snowflakes.
Oh, that's
I
awesome.
figured, you know, it's snowing outside, what better thing to bring than some snowflakes inside?
Exactly, perfect time of the year. Now, how did you get into the business of ice carving?
I actually went to culinary school. So I went to school to be a chef, learned how to do fruit and vegetable carving along with ice carving, and that was the basis for the business.
And what made you change your mind about culinary school?
I like the art side of it more than I like the cooking side of it. So I like working with fruits and vegetables to create elaborate displays and the ice carving to create elaborate displays from that. And I just kind of like that side of the business more than the cooking side of the business.
That makes sense. What kind of tools do you use to carve the ice block?
We use everything from chainsaws to die grinders, and we brought some chisels today to do some work inside because we don't want to make a mess with some chainsaws.
Chainsaw sounds intense. What was your favorite thing you've ever carved?
The favorite thing, well, I did a piece in 2005 that I got first place in the world up in Fairbanks, Alaska. It was 26 feet tall. It was 50,000 pounds of ice. It was an abstract piece called Gateway. That was probably one of my most favorite pieces.
That's incredible. So, first place in all of the world.
First place in all the world.
How many people were there?
There was 40 teams from China, Japan, Russia.
Did you have to make it right there on the spot? Or?
Yeah, we had 6 days at 12 hours a day to make it all right there on the spot.
That's incredible. Do you carve anything else besides sculptures or strictly sculptures?
Mainly just sculptures. We do sand sculptures, the ice sculptures. I do a little bit of chalk drawing and that, but mainly all sculpture work.
Awesome, thank you. Later on in the show, we'll be checking in with Chad to see how his sculpture is coming along. Stay tuned, guys.
To help the people and friendships by fulfilling 3 goals: to help the people of interested countries, to help promote a better understanding of Americans, and to help promote a better understanding of other peoples on the part of Americans. We welcome Jessica Batterson of the Peace Corps. Welcome, Jessica.
Thanks for having me.
All right. So what exactly is the Peace Corps?
So the Peace Corps is a governmental organization that sends individuals overseas to generally lesser developed countries and a variety of areas. So you could be an education volunteer, you could work with small business, agriculture, environment, health. Those are the main sectors that the Peace Corps has.
Okay. And what is your job with the Peace Corps?
So right now I am the graduate assistant for the Peace Corps Fellows program at BGSU. And so I help to coordinate all of the Fellows programs that we have. And a Fellows program is basically it's a way to help return Peace Corps volunteers go back and get their graduate degree.
Okay, so you can get a graduate degree in, is it necessarily called Peace Corps, or is it like something, is the title for your graduate degree, is it called like Peace Corps, or what is it called?
Oh, no, you can get, there are different programs. So right now I'm getting my degree in cross-cultural and international education. And so the degree title is just like any other degree, but you're also, you can apply to be a Peace Corps Fellows.
Okay.
And then that will help you finance your degree.
So it's almost like an assistantship, you could say, almost.
Kind of,
yeah.
sort of.
Okay.
Like a fellowship.
And this is not to be mistaken with like the Peace Corps and I guess like the Job Corps. They're 2 totally different things, right?
So the Job Corps?
Yeah. because a lot of people are like, oh, well, the Peace Corps and the Job Corps. I'm like, those are two totally different things. So Peace Corps, you know, like you said, you're going to different countries and you're helping them there agriculturally, and then the Job Corps is something totally different, helps you set on the right path for a job and all the other stuff. Okay. So what all does the Peace Corps entail? So what I can say, what is your favorite part, I guess, about the Peace Corps?
So my favorite part, well, I was a volunteer from 2009 until 2011 in Mozambique, which is a country in southern Africa. And I was teaching English to 8th, 9th, and 10th graders. And so my favorite part, I mean, I have lots of favorite parts, so it's hard to choose one. But I can have one memory that comes to mind is I was doing an English theater competition with some of my students. So my students, after school, we wrote plays in English. And then we would practice them, and we performed them at a competition with many other high schools in the southern region of the country. And I just remember one of my students really just was kind of blown away by how many other students really enjoyed English. And so that was probably my favorite moment, is seeing how
That's nice. That's
how much he loved it.
Does it have different does the Peace Corps have different subgroups or anything like that? Or is it a certain person that works just like with like the agriculture field, or who works in the education field, or anything like that?
So I mean, I guess there are different levels. Normally, as a volunteer, you go into a sector, so you'd either work with education, mainly teaching English, but they also have teacher trainers, or you could be assigned as a health volunteer, and maybe you would work on HIV/AIDS awareness, or maybe you would be in a business volunteer and work with small business development.
And how can those who want to be a part of the Peace Corps, how can they get involved?
Oh, well, there are lots of ways to get involved. Well, first, if you want to be a Peace Corps volunteer, you can apply after you graduate college. So you have to have an undergrad degree, a bachelor's degree, but there's no upper age limit. So you can apply at any point after you get your bachelor's. And for the application process, I mean, normally, if you're involved in extracurricular activities or show an interest in other cultures, in learning different languages, studying abroad, those are all things that look good on the application.
All right. Well, like she said, apply online. You have to have a bachelor's degree. Thank you, Jessica, for being here. We would really thank you so much for being here. So to find out more information, just go to bgsu.edu on the Peace Corps. And like I said, when we get back, we will have Rebecca Shakespeare here. So keep it locked. We'll also check in with Chad Harson with the Ice Creation.
Welcome back. Let's check in with Chad. How you doing, Chad?
Good. Started to shape the one side of it here, and we'll be working on the other side and then bringing it all together.
Now, I've noticed that you don't wear gloves for this. So does the cold not bother you?
It doesn't bother me. It's over 17 years of doing it. Touching it doesn't really affect me anymore. I did the same thing when I worked in a kitchen, so grabbing hot pans and stuff like that. After a while, you just get used to grabbing them, and it doesn't really seem to affect you.
Well, that's amazing. All right, we're gonna go over to Ejante and talk about fashion.
Just a few years ago, we were both students in our first fashion merchandising class, and now she has her own line. Hey, Rebecca.
Hi, Jesse. How are you?
Lovely. How are you?
Awesome. I'm feeling great today.
So what inspired you to start an accessory line?
Well, it really started when I was a little girl. I always wanted to be a fashion designer. I wanted to be a fashion designer since I was in 3rd grade, so I wanted to start my business before I graduated. I wanted to start with something small, like doing accessories. So I was like, well, why not start now? And then eventually when I graduate, I want to branch off and do more things like outfits, like maybe even try to make your jacket.
You love this jacket.
But I love that jacket. But I wanted to start off small just so I can get my name and my brand there before I head out into the real world.
Now, your line is faith-based, as you call it.
Yes.
What made you go faith-based? Because that's a big move.
That is a big move. I feel like what I believe, which I believe in Jesus Christ as my Savior, I believe has to do with a lot of where my creativity comes from. I do other stuff that is very trendy, but also I do a lot of things that comes from like biblical perspectives. If it goes with like someone's favorite scripture, or if it goes with like Psalms 21, Psalms 23. I like to do things that will motivate people to think in a positive light, as well as, if they are believers in Christ, be able to project those things with their fashion. And I do those things with my fashion as well.
So is that where you pull the inspiration for your fabrics? Because these are some interesting fabrics.
Yes.
I know you said these were for breast cancer, so is that what you do when you pick your...
Yes, like, say for example, this scarf is based off of BG. I got it inspired. Because before I graduated, I wanted to do something with orange and brown. So this one is called Being a G. It's so random, but I like quirky and cute. These two, like you said before, were inspired for breast cancer awareness. I wanted to incorporate purple too, because purple represents domestic violence. So this one could be worn for anyone. This scarf is called Measure Up. If you open it up, it's folded up, but it's still an infinity scarf. It has measuring tape on it, and we're fashion students.
Yeah.
Well, we were.
I was.
Fashion students. But just all of these things, I just like the print, but also they have different meanings to them as well.
So do you hope to expand your brand?
Yes. Like I stated before, I would love to do clothing. I don't make as many pieces as I would like to. Like over the summertime, I started to make skirts and dresses. Eventually, I want to branch off to having clothing. If I have the finances too, I want to have my own boutique with my husband, because he makes clothing as well.
He's a trendy guy too.
Yeah,
he's a trendy guy.
You know him, but he has an urban t-shirt line. So we want to start branching off together, and maybe later down the road have some home furnishings as well.
And your website is very interesting. Is it like a fashion blog kind of mix too? Is that what we're going for with that?
Yes. So right now I'm doing accessories, but as well as having a blog on there. So I also interview different artists, mainstream people, book authors, just other people that are doing small businesses as well. I like to interview them and get their perspective of what they do and why they do it and how they do it and how they can represent or help people that want to do it get it done. So that's what I like to do on my blog as well as with my website.
Now let's talk. Now I told you I cannot like tie an infinity scarf.
Okay.
Do you want to help me tie an infinity scarf?
Yes. So there's different ways you can do it. Like this one, you can double it up, or you can wear it depending on how wide this one is. This one is not as wide as the others, but you can tie it, double it, or you can even wrap it around, especially in BG weather.
Because it's cold.
You can do it like this, a little bit higher.
I like that.
So it depends on your outfit. This one, real quick, is a lot wider. So this one could be made as a hood if it's raining outside. And you can wear
I like that. I would have never thought to do that with an infinity.
so many different ways. It depends on which one you get. But this one would be nice with like a peacoat or a blazer, especially if it's raining outside. But it depends on what you want. I could do custom items as well. Like these ones aren't as wide as this one is, but if you order it, you can.
So you do custom scarves and jewelry as well?
Yes.
All right, well, would you like to shout out your website really quickly?
Yes, you can reach me at rjsfashion.com, or you can reach me on Facebook with RJS Shakes Fashion as well.
Thank you for being here, Rebecca. Don't forget to check out her website and see all of her fabulous pieces. When we return, we will be discussing a recent Lifetime biopic that has left the fans of a fallen star really upset. Stay tuned.
Welcome back. Lifetime recently aired a biopic of Aaliyah, one of the greatest, well, I wouldn't say great, one of the greatest, but one of the greatest who have not recently passed, but one of Princess R&B who passed in 2001 from a plane accident, coming from shooting her music video, Rock the Boat. And from that biopic, everybody has been disappointed with it. And Lifetime really did her bad this time.
Yeah, Wendy Williams produced it for some odd reason, because seeing as though she wasn't really in her circle, I don't know where she felt like she could produce a movie, but Lifetime didn't. None of her family was involved. None of her friends were involved because they didn't want the movie made because they felt like she deserved something far more grand than a TV movie.
Yeah, they thought she deserves like a
big screen.
Yeah.
Big screen.
And so they didn't even allow the use of her music. So how are you shooting a film without her music, without any input of her life? Like they had the girl who played her just singing like random songs. And it was really, it didn't do her
That girl
any
wasn't even
justice.
supposed to play her originally. Zendaya was supposed to play her.
Zendaya dropped
from the Disney
out.
Channel.
The
Yeah.
choice, she dropped out because she tweeted, I remember she tweeted, she said, if she's going to do it, it's going to be done right. And she said if the family wasn't going to be involved, she wasn't going to do it.
Yeah, and like she said, Wendy Williams did produce this, and like we said, the film was about Aaliyah, who passed away in a plane crash.
Yeah.
700 pounds too much. Luggage was on that plane, and right when it took off, it dropped right back down. 9 people had died on that plane from that crash. They had 2 who actually made it to the hospital, which was one of Aaliyah's security guards, and her security guard later passed away. They basically, succumbed to the injuries. And so people are so disgusted because, for one, like you said, her family wasn't involved in the film. They weren't allowed to use any of Aaliyah's music, so that means that girl had to use her actual voice to sing. She wasn't a bad singer. She wasn't a bad singer, but
it's so hard too when the family's not involved. Like, how,
Right.
I don't understand how anyone expected it to be a good movie if the family's not involved and
VH1.
it's on Lifetime.
VH1 tweet, it's a little shady, but they tweeted the Leo biopic should have never been made.
and it shouldn't have.
It should not have been
It
made.
shouldn't have been made.
But Lifetime does this all the time. They have done this with so many other
They're about to do it
celebrities.
with Whitney Houston.
But
But
it
it's
was
Lifetime.
tragic.
I don't understand why people are so upset because if you watched it and you knew it was on Lifetime doesn't have the highest quality of shows, but people still watched it, so they can't be upset about it.
Right.
I know, but it's just like, if you're gonna do it, then
Do it right.
Do it right. And of course, there were memes for days. Well, memes for
Memes
days.
for days. All right. And then Wendy Williams, this is what Wendy Williams said. She produced like she was the executive producer. On Monday, Wendy Williams said, whether you love it or hated it, you watched it. Well, she is correct. It was the second highest rated movie on cable this year.
That's amazing.
It's
like,
amazing,
That's good
but
for Lifetime. It
was amazingly bad, like the Beyonce meme said.
But people still
Watching
watched
the
it.
biopic, like,
It was, people watched it because it was Aaliyah. That's why
But
we
like
watched it.
people, like I didn't know who she was before, and now I know who she is. So this film, this controversy surrounding this film, has made people realize who she is. And isn't that what they wanted? That was the intended goal of the film.
I don't think you got a good idea of who she was
really
through the
was.
film, seeing as though it was done so inaccurately.
But because of this film, everyone will look her up and they'll try to find out more about her because everyone's saying, oh, this film was done wrong. So people will be like, oh, well, how should it have been done? What is her life really about?
I don't know. I don't think they should have done it because it was kind of like a mess. It was a mess, and it was kind of a disgrace to her legacy because she was so loved. And to have something just thrown together like that was very disrespectful to her.
I think overall the film gave Aaliyah more justice. Like, it made us want her, like, long for her more,
Right.
like show her more respect and everything like that. But for Wendy Williams in Lifetime, it didn't show them anything at all. No one is ever going to want anything to be aired on Lifetime.
But I don't think that's true.
Everybody nervous about this Whitney Houston biopic.
Everyone is
that they're
nervous
doing.
People are going to blow up about that too, but there will always be controversies surrounding everything. You can't produce anything right. Even like books that are made into movies, people are always like, oh, well, they didn't have this part in it. You can't fit everything into a movie.
You have to really watch this.
I mean, but there wasn't
You really
even
have
any
to
of her
watch this.
music. Like the Selena biopic was really good back in the day. That
Wonderful.
one was good.
But they couldn't have her music if her family wouldn't
Exactly.
give
So
them
that's
That's
why
why
it
they shouldn't have done it.
So they had to do the covers, but they wanted
No,
people
there
to
wasn't
know.
even covers. It was like music that just wasn't even hers. Like the music she was performing was
But they
not
wanted
hers.
people to know who she was, and that they got their goal like
I
accomplished.
mean, I feel like everybody knew.
I feel
like
I
you
think
were
you were
in
the
the
only person.
minority.
You're the only
Like,
person I
you're the
did not know.
minority.
You were the only person I didn't know. She was, and like we said, Aaliyah, she was the princess of R&B, and she did many inspirations. Monica, she inspired Monica because Aaliyah actually came up when Monica and Brandy were coming up. They were all in the same, in the same era. She has inspired Beyonce. Lately, Beyonce was on Instagram with the Aaliyah shirt on. Drake actually has like a tattoo of Aaliyah. He loves her.
Chris Brown has a song with her.
He's
all
never met
vocals.
her, so
Yeah.
she is very inspirational. But that what I say, Lifetime shouldn't do it again.
Lifetime shouldn't do that.
What do you say, Lifetime? Like, Gary's like, Lifetime
should
should.
if they
I think
want
it's because
to.
he's not a fan, so it's like he can't do.
All right. So stay tuned because after the break, we will see Chad's final product.
Let's check in with ice carver Chad Hartson one more time.
Hello.
Hi, this looks beautiful.
Thank you. Thank you.
Wow.
It's all put together. Got a couple snowflakes there, all shaped out.
Did that pretty quick.
Yeah, he did it really fast. Do pieces usually take you this quickly to do, or does it usually a
No,
longer time?
I brought some of the pieces pre-done. Obviously, the snowflakes were already etched in there, and that just for show, you know, just so it would be faster for the show. And that the lack of not using chainsaws, die graders, stuff like that, it's power tools. So a sculpture like this would normally take about 45 minutes to an hour to do, if constant carving. And then you'd have the snowflakes in there and all that. So we can freeze all kinds of stuff into ice. So we could even do color into these if we wanted to.
You just like
use
inject
color
it?
lighting. Yeah, we actually use colored gelatin. So we take out the area where the snow is, we clean it all out, we put colored jello in, let it freeze,
really
and then
cool.
and then let it set up. So
And do you have a website that people can go to?
we
check
do. It's
out your work?
icecreations.net. They can also go to our Facebook page, which is Ice Creations, and it's in Napoleon, Ohio. And we do all types of stuff from sculptures for parties, weddings. We do drink luges and that for a lot of you know,
Weddings.
beer parties.
So is this like a special ice that you all use? Or?
We do. We actually make our own blocks of ice so that they're crystal clear. We have machines that make about 40 blocks of ice a week. Makes a 300-pound block of ice, and they're crystal clear blocks when they come out. So there's a circulation process that goes on while they're freezing, which pushes all the impurities to the top so that they're a crystal clear block of ice in the end.
Man.
So what's the biggest one you've ever done?
The biggest one that I've ever done is the one that we got first place in the world with. It was 26 feet tall, and it was 50,000 pounds of ice
Isn't that incredible?
That's crazy.
So, you know, 26 feet tall is a couple stories.
Man,
tall.
that's taller than me and almost
Yeah.
heavier.
I like that.
Anything's heavier than you. So.
No, I haven't.
Yeah. That's
This is really,
sculptures.
really nice. So is this like a family business or anything like that?
It is. My wife does all the sales and office work. My brother and my dad actually help do deliveries randomly, and my kids are young. They're all under the age of 7, but they love playing at the ice shop. So.
Well, are they your best critics though? They say, "Oh, Dad, I'm not feeling that one."
Yeah, my 7-year-old's really into it. He's the one that wants to go on deliveries and that. And, if he doesn't like something, he's usually the first one to tell me.
Well, thank you.
Thank
That's our
you.
show for tonight. Thank you for joining us.
Make sure to tune in into next week's show.
Good night, everyone.